I started developing symptoms of Tourette syndrome when I was around 6 years of age. I was diagnosed at age 12 in New York City by Dr. Robert Shapiro. I went to a doctor, a neurologist at West Virginia University Medical Center in the early to mid 80s and worked with a doctor by the name of Dr. Dove. I was on a medication called Haldol all throughout my middle school years, and I went from a straight A student, very popular, to a DNF student without many friends at the time. So this was a rough period of my life. By age 14, Dr. Dove weaned me from medication because he thought it would be more important that I focus on my social life and my education. And that was a huge help. Of course, after weaning off the medication, my tics returned. They had hoped I would outgrow it, but I'll be 45 this year and I'm still living very productively with Tourette syndrome. However, over the years, I have developed my own techniques for turning my tics off. I call it a follow the neurotransmitter. It's an exercise that I've come up with. My goal is to attract a neurologist, a group of neurologists, or a group of neuroscientists that would actually do research on me while I employ this meditative technique. I call it follow the neurotransmitter. And my tics include head jerking. I've got a pretty bad eye twitch. I've got vocal tics. My shoulders. When I drive, I'm generally moving my feet. When I sit in a movie theater, I usually can't control my legs. So there's just a lot of movement that I do. However, when I practice my follow the neurotransmitter technique, I'm able to completely turn my tics off as though I didn't have Tourette syndrome. Although the neurotransmitters are still firing throughout my body continuously, I'm able to flow with them and keep myself from ticking. And this is what I want to have neurologists or scientists to take a look into this a little more deeply and see if there is a way to study this that might shed some new light on what Tourette syndrome is, where it comes from, what specific region of the brain. They've got it narrowed down to the neocortex. I know when they do deep brain stimulation, they focus on the neocortex. But if they could study this when I practice my technique, maybe it could help them diagnose Tourette syndrome better. Maybe it would change some way treatments are looked at and practiced. So with that being said, I'm going to demonstrate my technique. So again, my tics are head movements, eye twitching, vocal tics, shoulders. So when I go into my meditative technique, now I can just let the neurotransmitters run throughout my entire body. And it's not hard to control them. I just flow with that energy. And this has come from years of practice, years of martial arts, years of meditation. And now I'm able to sit here very comfortably and not have any tics. Now I have the medical records to prove that I have Tourette syndrome. I have my entire family, friends, people I've grown up with who have always known that I have Tourette syndrome. They see it very visibly. Those in my household, they live with it every day. They see when I'm stressed, how my tics are uncontrollable. And stress is a huge factor with Tourette syndrome. But through this technique that I'm showing you as I speak, it's actually quite easy. The more you do the technique and the more you practice it, the easier it becomes. So that one can appear not to have Tourette syndrome when they actually have a very moderate and sometimes even severe case of Tourette syndrome. Now, I've seen a lot of people who've tried to hold their tics in and they struggle with that because they don't understand what's going on inside of their own body. And that's my goal, is to educate the world on how to control the neurotransmitters and slow them down and actually flow with them through your body. Just because your neurotransmitters misfire doesn't mean that they have to cause you to tick. And that is what this program and this plight is all about. I'm trying to raise funding and awareness so that I can get neuroscientists or neurologists to study me when I employ this follow the neurotransmitter technique. I've spoken with hundreds of neurologists and neuroscientists throughout the world over the past 15 years, and nobody will work with me. I don't know whether it's not in their best interest or if it's they don't take me serious. So I'm here to take myself serious because I want to bring this to the world. I want the world to understand how this is possible. You can control your tics naturally. I've been medication free since 14 years of age. I don't take any kind of medications or supplements that would aid in this ability to control my tics. There is one supplement though I do believe in, and it's magnesium. However, I don't take a lot of magnesium. I might take 1 or 2 magnesium tablets per week because I've read on how magnesium actually is good in helping balance dopamine levels. I'm not a doctor. I am a network professional. I'm a very self-educated person, if you will. So I know enough about my condition, and I know enough about what works for me and what works for my own Tourette syndrome and my own body. And I want to share that with the world. So I'm seeking funding so that I can go have my own tests run, MRIs, CT scans, neurotransmitter test, whatever it may be. However they can put diodes all over my body and determine how is this person able to turn his tics off and be perfectly comfortable with it and appear as though he does not have Tourette syndrome at all. So that's my goal. So I'm asking if you would please make a contribution to this effort, because I truly believe in my heart that it's something that can be studied more deeply, because there has to be something to how this meditative technique works in order to be able to control the manifestation of tics. So thank you very much. I appreciate any support that you can give. If you can't donate financially, if you'll just keep me in your prayers, because I'm at the point in my life where I feel compelled to bring this to the world, because I feel like I can make a difference. So thank you very much, and God bless you.